surrogacy question and answer. I'm going to try and go through things as quickly as I can. So it's not ideally in 2 parts, but it might end up being in 2 parts. And there's going to be loads and loads and loads of videos in the description bar below. Do check them out if you want to know anything more in depth about parental orders, legalities, how I felt giving birth. I did daily vlogs after I gave birth to the first surrogate baby. Wills, insurance, all of that sort of stuff should be in the videos below. So if I haven't fully answered it in depth, check out the description bar, check out what I've said about each of the videos and what I cover in each of them, to click on the links to get a little bit more information, which will help make this a little bit shorter. So I'm going to get on with the questions that I received. I put some things on Instagram. Everything's on at Lumdeedums or as Lumdeedums, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So if you have a question I haven't answered, please ask below. If I get quite a few more, I'll do another video, or I will answer them in the comments below. But leave me a comment because I love comments. What do you think? Am I like accidentally offending people? I hope not. And also if I get your name wrong, sorry. So let's get down. KK Moo and Monkey 2 is asking about doing surrogacy again and how do you cope letting baby go. So surrogacy again, now I have got a few echoing questions that are very similar, so I will say them later on, but also say refer to the other, you know, earlier on in the video. I don't know if I'm going to go again. That's what I can say about that. I don't know. If David and Morris want a sibling for Seth, I'm there, but as it stands they're not right now, or they might not do at all. How did you cope letting baby go? It was great. I absolutely loved it. I loved handing the baby over to the parents. I loved seeing their faces. I loved seeing the joy. I loved waving them off and getting my life back. So I didn't have to cope. I thoroughly enjoyed passing the baby off. Bye. It was like, oh, the best thing in the world. Gemma Ogden, what made you desire to be a surrogate? She also asks, how do you find the parents, or how do they find you, and what are the legalities involved? So desire-wise, probably friends. Yeah, I saw the thing with Phoebe and the triplets, but I don't know if it was fully that, but that probably sparked something. I don't really know, really. It's just something I always wanted to do, but I do think Phoebe probably had a fair part to play in that. How do you meet parent stuff? I personally am an independent surrogate, and I met every single one of my intended parents, even when I was with an agency in the past, because there are agencies in the UK. I met those IPs separately in a group, mainly Facebook groups. They're the best thing in the world. And if you want to join a Facebook surrogacy group to get information and stuff, search for UK Surrogacy, the foyer. I created the group, it's my baby. And it's just full of lots of information. It's a great way to meet people. You just chat in there and you make friends. There's just masses of information in there and lots of people, and it's the best way to make friends, which can lead to matches. That's how I do it. The legalities involved I've covered more in depth, and one of those videos will be in the description bar, but to just lightly skim over it for the length of the video, you get a C51 form to apply for a parental order after baby's been born, and they're between the ages of 6 weeks and 6 months. It costs £215 and it has to be applied for through your family court, and that's pretty much the only legalities. But you do need to be able to apply for a PO, have to meet the requirements for the parental order. But all of that, again, it just takes way too long to do in a Q&A video. But if you want to know more, message me on here or Facebook, or check out the video I've done. It will be in the description box. Lisa Shand makes, sorry if I'm saying it wrong. She asks, how long does the process take? Obviously not the pregnancy. Where do you start? What happens first? When done, how do you feel? So the process, how long is a piece of string? Some people will go in to groups, and within months they're matched, they get pregnant almost straight away, and then they apply for the parental order, and they're in a court that was really good 4 months after they've applied for it. So when baby's like 5.5 months old, the parental order's done. So you're looking 18 months to 2 years at the quickest, from start to finish. Other people it can take years. Some people have been in the group for 6 years and never matched. Some people have been matched 2 or 3 times, and for whatever reason it's fallen through. Others have been doing rounds of IVF, followed by rounds of IVF, followed by rounds of IVF because of egg issues or fertility issues, implant issues, miscarriages, anything and everything can come in. So I would say about 2 to 4 years is the average from looking at a group to the parental order being done and you being legally your child's parent. So yeah, 2 to 4 years I'd say. Where do you start and what happens first? As I said, pretty much in the groups you will make friends, and so the best thing you do is to chat to people, make friends, maybe PM them. If you go through an agency, they will let you know that someone's interested in you or something. I'm not entirely sure how that works nowadays. And you chat, and the first thing you do properly is match, and you'll go through an agreement. Make sure you agree on everything. Don't think, oh, it doesn't matter, I won't cover that because it won't happen to me, because you don't know that. Cover everything. Please, everything. Don't cut corners. Make sure everyone's got a criminal check, everyone's got their full medical check, everyone's had a full psychological analysis. Do not cut corners. Do not ever cut corners. And when done, how do you feel? Just amazing. Best feeling ever. Absolutely loved completing a journey. Just, oh my gosh, I can't even put it into words. It's the best high ever. Just crazy. And if you want to see what I was like daily after giving birth to Seth, who came from my egg, I vlogged every day after I gave birth because obviously I was at home, and I linked those below. But I was just like, I was hyper. It was amazing. It was the most amazing feeling in the world. Nothing has ever beaten that. Like nothing. It was the best feeling ever. Life is the Pits 5. Have you plans to be a surrogate again? Do you ever feel broody, and do you miss the baby after? So, I don't actually have plans to be a surrogate again. I really kind of desperately want to because I am surrogacy broody. So to answer that question, yes, I get massively surrogacy broody, but I think my mum will kill me and possibly my husband. They might tag team and be each other's alibis. I'm really not sure. But if I lose weight and I'm cleared healthily and I'm not too old and stuff, maybe I'll look into it, maybe I'll see how it happens. So never say never. I would personally love to go again, but it's not just about me. It has to be about my medical state, and because I had the pre-eclampsia with the last pregnancy, I really don't know if it would be medically advised for me to go again right now, when I would never risk someone's baby. Just no. So as it stands, no, but I would love to. I really, really would. Do you miss the baby afterwards? No, not even slightly, sorry. I know that makes it sound bad, but you never get attached when you're pregnant, so you're just like, bye. Mum Ashwin, if I get that wrong, sorry. She also asked, like, do you ever get attached when you are carrying the child? Do you keep in contact? And I will cover that with someone else's question, the contact one. So, getting attached when pregnant, no. Not at all. When you're pregnant with your own, you like imagine what they look like, you go through names, you decorate a nursery if you're really lucky, you buy outfits and prams, and you like dream about this little person, who they're going to be, and everything's just really magical and amazing and wonderful if you're in a position that you're able to feel magical and amazing and wonderful. As a surrogate, you go into it knowing it's not going to be yours, so you just don't get attached. You literally don't, because it's not your baby. I didn't pick his name. He would have been called Cuthbert if I did, or something. It would have been awesome, but no one ever asked me. But yeah, you know, you don't plan, you don't, you know, you might think about what the baby looks like, maybe buy them a couple of bits, but you don't get to do any of the stuff that really makes you bond and imagine what this baby's like. You know it's not going to be yours, so you just don't get attached in the first place. With the contact one, I also got, do you stay in touch with Finley's parents? Do you still see each other? So contact wise, I'm still in contact with David and Morris and Seth, who was the baby I had through Traditional Surrogate. I saw them at the weekend at Chessington again. We're going to meet up in Legoland soon. I still see them on and off, and now we've all got Merlin passes. It's going to be much more frequent. Second set with Finley, not really. I gave them the option to maintain contact and said you can message me, we can stay in touch. But if you choose not to, then I will respect that, because I've got no rights after I've given birth to that child. It's not mine. And they've chosen to not really contact me. They don't message me or anything. But I think we're still all friends on Facebook. I don't really see their stuff. So, but I think we still are. So I know that he's loved. He's so loved and he's so happy and he's so wanted that you know, absolutely, it's the most amazing thing in the world. She also said about, you know, do you fear about being attached? Because she's sometimes thought about being a surrogate but worried about being attached, and no, I didn't. I knew it was right, and I think if you've got fears, don't do it. But sometimes you fear it because everyone keeps telling you that you might get attached, everyone keeps telling you that you might have problems, and you're like, well, actually no, you know you won't. So maybe look into it, maybe join the foyer on Facebook and have a look into it. But there's no shame in not being able to do it. Not everyone can, and there's nothing wrong with that. So don't panic, as they say. Making a family. Lisa says, did you plan to make friendships? How does it feel being friends? How do family cope after, especially the kids? Which also Jules said, how do the kids, do they get attached to the baby? Do I get broody? Will I go again? And what's your advice to people that want to do surrogacy? So covering a lot of those, some of those have been covered. So yeah, I made friends with David Morris, set out for that. It was absolutely amazing. With the second set that I did IVF for the first time, I still talk to Darren and that, and absolutely love her to pieces. She's like the most amazing woman in the world, and I adore her. The kids have got no attachment to the babies. They are fine afterwards. I don't know if anyone remembers from seeing it. After I had Finley, because I had him at home, and the kids did wake up because an ambulance turned up and the midwife turned up, and there was just like loads of noise downstairs, and also I probably went, ah, to get out because he was 10 pounds, it hurt. And we said to the kids, do you want to come down and meet the baby? And Edie did, and she went, oh, cute baby, and then went back to bed. She didn't want to keep him. She's done. He wasn't ours as far as she was concerned, which is exactly right. We were saying to her, it's not our baby. So she would not have wanted to take someone else's baby, but she did say, okay, we have a baby for us now. Mummy, daddy have a baby for us now. And I'm like, no, daddy can't snip, sorry. Again, George likes seeing the babies and cuddlings. He likes seeing Seth and stuff, but he doesn't want to keep other people's kids. He's got an understanding. Alice didn't even want to come down and see the baby. She was like, no, she doesn't like babies. I love that kid. She's so, no, they know it's not ours. They know it's not ours, and they've never been attached. And I think they're quite happy to see the back of the screaming babies. Like, George loves babies, but he loves babies temporarily and to give back. Alice doesn't even like babies. And Edie, I don't think she understood really that I was pregnant or anything like that. She just knew Mummy was a bit sick and grumpy, and actually she got very, very upset that Mummy disappeared, but it had nothing to do with the baby. But the first time she was too young, and the second time she's just so distraught that Mummy had disappeared and she didn't get to see Mummy. And I'm never going to get over that. She was absolutely distraught for months. It was horrible. That's one of the reasons I said I probably wouldn't go again, because I wouldn't risk the medical things, not only for that baby, but actually thinking about it, I don't think I could do that again to Edith, because she didn't cope. I'd said about broody and about going again. Advice to people who want to do surrogacy. Oh, take time, do not rush. Doesn't matter how desperate you are, don't rush. Join the groups on Facebook, as I said, like UK Surrogacy, the foyer, if you search on Facebook. Take time to learn stuff. If you go ahead for it, do not cut corners. I honestly feel like a stuck record. You all need full criminal checks. You all need full medical workups, like not just for STDs, but like surrogates need to make sure they're medically fit and cleared. It's not fair on your kids. It's not fair on the IPs. It's not fair on you or your husband if you get sick. People have died during surrogacy. People have lost their uterus, their fallopian tubes. I've even known someone to lose a kidney from complications. I mean, just don't do it. I know it makes you feel good and it makes you feel brilliant and wonderful and happy and everything, but you need to be sure. Full psychological analysis for everyone involved. If someone doesn't want one, then sorry, you shouldn't be doing surrogacy. If you're scared you're going to fail one, that's fine. I think everyone has that fear that they'd fail one, but no one that's honest would do it. Make sure if you're an IP, you are 100% okay with someone carrying your baby, because one of the worst things is, especially happens to IMs, unfortunately, men seem to be less asked. But for women, and it is understandable, but women think they're okay with someone carrying a baby until someone is carrying their husband's baby and it's not them. And they're not okay. And the thing is, they end up really messed up and really hurt. And they end up really upsetting their surrogate, making the surrogate life miserable. And let's be honest, when we're pregnant, we're not always reasonable. And it can just be the most horrible thing for everyone involved, and it's not fair on the IM or the surrogate or the IF who's caught in the middle as well. It's just not a nice experience, so make sure you are definitely okay with it. Make sure you know that it's not a magical answer. Relationships can go wrong, matches can break down, miscarriages can happen, stillbirths can happen. You just need to be careful and go into it without rose-tinted glasses. It's not all sunshine and daisies and rainbow unicorns, unfortunately, but take time and learn. Knowledge is your biggest companion when it comes to surrogacy, and don't expect everyone to be nice just because they're in surrogacy, because there's some nasty people out there. Meryl Riley, I assume I'm saying your name probably wrong, sorry. Did it feel different handing Seth over than Finley, because she knows I did traditional surrogacy and gestational surrogacy? But no, being my own egg or not my own egg makes a very little difference. Handing that baby over and seeing the parents happy is just, oh, I love it, love it. I've answered about staying in touch with Finley's parents. Jules Finesse says, what's the best part of being a surrogate? I answered, do the kids get attached to the baby too? And she said, how do you find each other and make sure it's all real and committed? As I said, when the real and committed thing, as far as that one, it relates to what I've just said. Make sure you get all your checks done. Make sure you go through an agreement fully. Don't think, oh, it doesn't matter, it won't happen to me, because you don't know it won't happen to you. It happens. Even if you don't expect it to. You can fall pregnant with identical sex tuplets. You can find out you've got a baby with Down syndrome. You can find out all of this stuff, and you have to have covered it. Make sure everything is covered. And if everyone agrees on everything, then you've built the trust. You know that it's real. Mostly take your time, because when you've known someone for a long time, you discuss a lot of things. It can feel, it's a lot harder to pull the wool over someone's eyes. But make sure the psychoanalysis is done and everything. Don't just go in thinking, well, they wouldn't be horrible to me, because people will be. As awful as it is, they will be absolutely horrific, and there's nothing you can do about it at the end of the day if you haven't covered your butt cheeks. Cover all arse cheeks at all times, and then you get a much better feel for whether something's real or not. Going on to the group questions, I'm nearly 20 minutes, so I want to be quick. Kate asked that I cover a refresh of the expenses, and, you know, that inflation needs to be taken into consideration. Yes, people, you need to realise expenses, if you're IPs and you're getting kind of annoyed or upset or sad or any of these emotions, it's completely reasonable that you've got them. But the average used to be about £12,000, and that's now gone up to about £15,000, whereas £15,000 used to be sort of like the top end of expenses, and that's now moved to being more like £18,000 to £20,000 or even more than that, because inflation, have we not noticed that everything costs more now? And expenses are just that, they are expenses. I did do a video, I'll link it below. We're not taking advantage, but if you've got two people's loss of earnings and childcare and fuel and parking and clothes and sanctuary and vitamins and medication and medical aids and, you know, post-birth outfits, shoes alone if you need wife-fitting ones cost masses. Some people do end up needing a cleaner, not because they're being cheeky, because they literally can't do everything. Like, I was medically advised not to bend or stretch or lift or anything at the end. I was buggered and my poor husband was doing so much. So yeah, I did pay out for a cleaner to come round onto one occasion to clean my house, and I should have done more, but I was so embarrassed by asking for that because I felt really bad. Like, people made out like I was making money off of my IPs or I was being an awful person. But my expenses should have gone up. I ended up not having things I should have had because I felt guilty, but my battery's also low, so just be careful. Single parent surrogacy as well is another thing people need to be aware of. It's not legal yet, it's coming in, but don't get pregnant. By all means match, make the most amazing match. If you're a single person, that's fantastic, but I would hold off getting pregnant until it's actually been definitive date set it is happening, because it's a risk otherwise, and you don't want to be stuck with a surrogate who's peed at you because she has to stay on the birth certificate, or you have to adopt your child and then you hit obstacles and it could cost you an awful lot of money. So just keep the semen to yourself pretty much for now, and build an amazing match if that's what you want to do and your surrogate's willing to wait. But I just wouldn't jump ship just yet. Just hold your horses a little bit. A PO and everything I've covered a little bit, but again, those videos will be where I cover the parental order and wills and life insurance and all of that more in depth will be down there, and I will put which one and what it covers. And then Gemma asked about etiquette and general information for being in the group and being an independent surrogate or an IP. Basically, before my battery dies, don't message someone within minutes of giving birth or days of giving birth asking if they want to carry your baby. It's rude. It is just rude. Remember that we're people, not vessels. We're not there for your use. We're not actually making money off you, so you don't need to treat us like we do. If you're going to message someone, have spoken to them ideally in a group first, unless they're saying, hey, I'm unmatched and I'm thinking about going again, wink wink, I can't advertise but I basically am advertising, wink wink. Then by all means send them a message, but other than that, chat to people in the groups, make friends, then maybe approach them and say, hey look, you know, we're getting on really well and would you maybe like to think about possibly matching with me maybe? Do that, but don't just randomly message someone you've never spoken to before and ask if they want to have your baby. You wouldn't do it to a woman like, hey, I've never spoken to you before, but your boobs look amazing, I quite fancy you, do you want to get married and have some kids? You wouldn't do it. So remember that common sense is something not everyone uses, and they should use the common sense. What else can I say? Be polite. Remember that surrogates talk and so do IPs, so Use your brains. And don't think every time you talk to a surrogate, that's it, you're going to be matched. They've spoken to me, we chatted in PMs, it's so meant to be, quick, let's draw up an agreement. No. Also, don't be offended if a surrogate is chatting to you and it's getting really, really, really well. You think, oh, maybe we will match. We're discussing all the things you need to do to do a match. And then they come back and say, actually, I'm matching someone else. They're not leading you on. They're not meaning to be horrible. It's just that as surrogates, there are a lot of people that are looking. So we do talk to a lot of people. But as a surrogate, do say that to people. If you're chatting to people, say, please bear in mind that I'm talking to 2, 3, 4 other couples. Please don't instantly think this is it, because it's going to be a very, very hard decision for me. And I don't want to absolutely devastate you. But equally, IPs should, you know, it would be helpful if you realise that we usually are talking to a few people. And last point, stop being nice to me in groups, because I'm so surrogacy broody. I want to go again and I can't right now. So people need to stop being amazing in the groups, because you're making me sad inside, because I want to carry your baby and I can't. I need to lose weight. Does anyone want to pay for me to go to the gym? And then I can lose the weight and then I can be a surrogate. It's not technically illegal. No. Right, this is a really long video, so I'm going to get off. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope this has answered everything, but do leave comments below. If not, I'm going to love you and leave you and apologise for basically half an hour of my face. This is going to take forever to upload. Ah! Bye.